Welcome back to Solutions for Financial Independence. Joining me now, John Halterman with Beacon Wealth Management. How are you, John?
I'm doing great, Nikki. How are you?
Doing really well, thanks. This week we have a question. It's from Ken, but I think this will probably apply to a lot of people here in our area. He says, I'm a federal employee and I know I have a traditional TSP and a Roth TSP. Now, what's the difference?
Sure, Ken. I think that's a pretty common question that a lot of federal employees have. And, you know, the first thing you have to look at is you got to look at from the standpoint of a contribution. You know, what's the difference? When you contribute to a traditional, you're going to generally get a tax deduction for your contribution, whereas on the Roth, you're not going to get a tax deduction that is made on an after-tax basis. In terms of the actual earnings, how they're taxed, in both of those plans, the earnings are going to grow tax deferred until the age of 59 and a half or later when you start taking distributions. The distributions is the second biggest area. What you have to look at is traditional TSP, which is very similar to traditional IRA. That money, because you have received a tax deduction up front, now it's going to be taxed to you as earned income as you take it out. Whereas in the Roth TSP, that money, if you wait until after 59 and a half, is going to be 100% tax-free on their distributions. Now, the other thing that people always ask me about is, well, do they earn different amounts? You know, is the money going to be different? Basically, in your TSP, you're going to have some investment options, and whether you put it in the traditional or whether you put it into the Roth, the investment options are going to be the same from availability standpoint. So what you earn on it is going to be how well you pick your investments and what those investments actually do.
So it's kind of a personal preference, and there's a couple things that go into it, correct?
Oh no, absolutely. It's a personal thing. You got to really decide, you know, number one, whether you want the pre-tax and take the tax deduction today and be taxed later, or would you rather forego the tax deduction today to get tax-free later? And then in terms of the investments themselves, it's just a matter of what is right for your risk tolerance and the time horizon that you have left.
All right, thank you so much, folks. If you miss any of that, you can always find it online. Now, don't go anywhere. We still have much more for you after the break.